Welcome to Xtra presented by VDG Sports. I am your host, Vince Douglas Gregory. No filter. Very censored. You can follow Xtra on Twitter at Xtra VDG. Be sure to follow Xtra on Twitter at Xtra VDG. Check out the website as well. That is xtra.vdgsports.com. Once again, xtra.vdgsports.com. There's a YouTube as well. Like, subscribe, share, or do whatever it is you do there. Rate and review too. All things are there. And that's VDG Sports. This episode, believe it or not, is being sponsored by VinceDouglasGregory.com. VinceDouglasGregory.com is where you can keep up with me, my whereabouts, my well-being, everything in between. All things Vince, things that I'm thinking of, things that I'm not thinking of, everything. Noobs, thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you for giving me a chance. That's all I can ask for. That's all I ever ask for is an opportunity and a chance. Thank you kindly. Even if you're gone now or haven't made it past a couple of seconds. Thank you. Regs, we back at it again. We do what we do. This is like every day. It feels like every day, except for it being sponsored. That's not every day. That doesn't feel like it's every day. We got this special, unique bond. We'll get a name. We will get a name. Stay strong. Stay strong. Now, I was in a position. I put myself in a position, basically, in my eyes, to keep the promise to myself. I made this promise to myself long ago, and I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to do everything in my power, everything that I can to keep this promise that I made to myself. Regs, you know what it is. I'm going to go ahead and say it again for the noobs, and this, Reg, should help you continuously keep it in the long-term memory. Noobs, it's going to be short-term, but the more and more you come, the more and more you consume, the more and more you're entertained, you will get this in your long-term memory, and you'll be a reg too. I made the promise to myself long ago that I would never run out of petrol. I would never run out of fuel again. That walk of shame was something serious. That walk of shame was something that I don't wish on my frenemy or enemy for that matter. And taking that walk and having people yell things that I know was true, have people say things that I know was true, so I couldn't say anything back, even if I wanted to, even if I tried. I was already under the impression of I made a mistake. I didn't want to compound the error by making another error, by correcting individuals and strangers and people I don't know to something that's true and known to be true. I can't promote falsehoods. While taking that walk of shame, I just had to basically take all of the input, take all the suggestions, and just hear it out. Another reason why I can't run out of this petrol again. I can't run out of this fuel again, even though there's been occasions where I've been close. And there's definitely some other promises I should be making to myself. There are definitely some other promises I should be making to myself, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. And noobs, you're going to have to wait for that one. You are going to have to wait for that one. I like singing. I like dancing. I like making my chest pop and doing what it do when I'm in a G ride because it is one of my happy places, if not one of the happiest places of all time ever. And no, it's not an amusement park, but yeah, it can be if I no, it's not an amusement park. Final answer, and I'm gonna keep it that way. The rest is still protect the guilty in the game. Protect the guilty in the game. I was in the G ride, singing, dancing, making my chest pop and doing what it do, having myself a good old time, singing with my angelic bird like voice, and I was happy. Then all of a sudden, then all of a sudden, the deliverer of not so good news alerted me into a situation that I wasn't ready for. I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't know it was going to take place that soon, that fast, that quick. I was a long ways out from my destination, and the bells and the whistles went off and was letting me know, hey, moron, you need to refuel. You need to feed the G ride. You need to get that petrol. You need to stop by a station. You need to do something because this light, that little noise, it means this is the first warning. This is the first warning. This is the first step to helping you keep the promise to yourself. And my mind is thinking, of course, worst case scenario, it's thinking, I need to find a spot. I need to find a place to get this fuel and get this petrol like as soon as possible, ASAP. But I'm so far away. I am so far away. Then another part of me, the insides, the things that do all of this stuff for me, eternally, that is, without me not even knowing about it, unconsciously doing it. Let's just go ahead and call it intuition and gut feeling. It went ahead and calculated all of this information, processed all of this information for me. And it led me to the fact that go ahead, go to your destination. And we'll pick up on this the next day. But it's got to be the next day. You know me, noobs, you don't, but I 100% back support my intuition. While my mind was worst case scenario and that part was alarming me to get that petrol, alarming me to get that fuel right then and there and find a spot, I didn't worry about it. I was like, okay. I said to myself internally, the internal monologue going, because that's where intuition is and everything else. That makes a lot of sense. Didn't have to say it loud. Didn't have to say it out loud. I didn't have to convince myself because this is intuition and gut feeling and I'm behind it 100%. I didn't need to puff out my chest and keep saying something until I believed it. It was a belief. The confidence was already there. Oh, okay. So this is what we're going to do. All right. I'm listening to you. Mine, I hear you, but I do not compute. I do not follow. I am not. No. How about some other time? How about for some other things? I went ahead and went home eventually. And later on that night, I didn't have any problems sleeping. Later on that night, I got a pretty good night of sleep. I rested well. Sure, I'm going to point out that some of that's due to meditating. Some of that's due to all of the things that I do to help me sleep well and good at night. But also, the things that normally keep me up at night, that wasn't one of them. That wasn't an issue. And I was just able to enjoy my night of sleep. no worries, no anything, peaceful night of sleep. I got up the next morning. I knew what I had to do. I knew what I had to do. And I was 100% confident that things were going to work out best. Things were going to work out for my benefit. I mean, I can't run out of petrol again. I can't run out of fuel again. I've been there, done that. And you know what they say about part two of movies. Part two of movies suck. Part two of movies aren't good. Nothing's better than the original. The second one is chaotic chaos at best. And I didn't want to do part two of the running out of petrol movie, the running out of fuel movie. The original was good enough. The original was good enough. Don't need a part two. Do not need a part two. So all of that's on my mind because the mind is the mind and it's just going to continue to go worst case scenario. It's going to continue to want a part two to an original when the original is the original for a reason and it was the blockbuster hit for a reason. That's neither here nor there. I was able to go ahead, push all that to the side, get up, do what I got to do, attempt to go to the station to get this petrol, attempt to go to the station to get this fuel, attempt to go to the station to get this gasoline. So I hop in the G-Rod and the light immediately comes on. There's no bells, there's no whistles this time. The light comes on and it was just signaling to me, you already got the first warning. The first warning was the one that just went above and beyond the call of duty. The second warning is just a friendly reminder. And yes, my digits kind of went up and down. It kind of went up and down, but that's the reason it happened that way and not the normal up and down. But a friendly reminder. You still got to do something. You still have to do something if you want to keep this promise to yourself. I'm going. I got no worries. I'm singing. I'm dancing. I'm making my chest pop. I'm in the G-Rod. I'm doing what it do. I'm having myself a good old time. I'm going in a direction of the petrol station. I'm going in a direction to get some gas. I'm going in a direction to get fuel to feed my car. But I did notice something. It seemed as though the way to get there and when I was going there, everything seemed a little bit off. It seemed to take a little bit longer. It seemed like there were more stops than ever before. It seemed as though it took about 30 minutes to get there. It seemed like it took about 30 minutes to get there when it was only a 1 to 2 minute ride. I had no issues with that. I had no problem with that. Because that one song that I just put on repeat was one of my songs that I put on to go and get in the zone. So not only that I was in my happy place, doing the things that make me feel good, doing the things that make me happy, I was also in the zone listening to the song that put me or was putting me in the zone on repeat. So it was like it was the song that never end. It was like the mission that never end. It was like torture if I let my mind's eye see for what things were. I had a little bit more confidence. I definitely was puffing my chest out a little bit more than usual. Because when you in the zone and when you in your happy place and doing the happy dance and doing all the things that make you feel good, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. And intuition, mind you, made all of that possible. I eventually get to where I'm going. I pull in. I'm the only one. No one else is there. It's like I'm outside the G Ride, but the music is still playing. The music hasn't stopped. I'm outside the G Ride and the music haven't even stopped. I sort of glance around to pay attention a little bit to my surroundings, but I'm still in the zone. I am still in the zone. In other words, it's my world and everybody else is living in it. I have control over everything, and everybody else is just subject to my influence. That's how I was feeling. That's how things were popping off for me. So I hop out. No problems with the keypad. No issues with anything. Went, put my risk up, put my stuff in, got my ticket. Everything was like on point. Everything was like perfect. Everything was like a magic moment. Angelic, bird like voice. Except for one thing. After the pump stopped, after the receipt came, after I put everything back and looked at the price, yep, somebody pricked my balloon, and it was the whoever set the prices. Yep, whoever set the prices. Happy no more. Happy no more.